Well, this time around, it could be different. Tonight, we're getting expert insight into what we can expect to see when James Crumbley goes on trial. We are weeks away from the trial to determine the future of the Oxford shooter's father. He's facing involuntary manslaughter charges.
Christy McDonald is leading our streaming coverage of the historic Crumbley trials, and she's explaining the differences we could see.
There is a lot to this case, and just because prosecutors got a conviction in Jennifer's case does not mean that the evidence against James is the same, and of course they'll have a new jury. We know that there are a lot of questions surrounding this case, and we are going to walk through them with you each week with our legal experts. It's James Crumbley's turn in court, facing 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter in the deaths of Hannah, Tate, Justin, and Madison. Prosecutors forming a similar case. Was he grossly negligent? Could he have foreseen his son opening fire at Oxford High School? Longtime Detroit criminal defense attorney Lillian Diallo walks us through the questions. How does going second hurt or help James Crumbley's case?
Well, I think it helps him in that you can see how the prosecutor laid out her case and in their theory. And one of the things Madam Prosecutor said is she was the last adult to touch that gun. I would pull that thread because they have not made a connection between James Crumbley touching that gun and then the shooter. But we can see clearly Miles was in the shooting range and she walks the gun out. So who stored the gun, right? And who stored it properly or improperly?
There are also motions for the court to consider. The defense doesn't want certain witnesses and wants to change the venue.
The prosecution wants 2 students to testify, and we could see some witnesses who say, I don't want to testify again because it is just too emotional. What are some of the similarities and the differences that we see?
Well, we know we won't get in any of Mom's business, right? How she had a dalliance with us. None of those things will come in this trial, nor should the students testifying. That would be new, right? And that may be because the prosecutor is regrouping based on everything that happened at trial number 1. So prosecutors regroup as well as defense attorneys, right? So they want to put on a better case that goes to James Crumbley.
Can James get a fair trial?
I pray so. I've been through so many jury trials in my life, more than I would ever wish on anybody. I believe at the end of the day, they try to do justice, right?
What about a change of venue?
Where's he going? This is national news. We just want to focus on, can you be fair to this person that sits here? I believe jurors, for the most part, take their responsibilities serious.
There's a lot more to cover in this case. We're going to be talking about the motions in court next week. We'll talk about the storage of the gun, the timeline, and the possibility of James taking the stand. And of course, you can watch all of our coverage of the Crumbleys on trial streaming live on Local 4 Plus and of course on clickondetroit.com. I'm Christy McDonald. Back to you.
All right, Christy, now as for Jennifer Crumbley, she's set to be sentenced on April 9th.